I'm not excited about it because I think it's a one shot anyway, but it was the best I could do. Because I can't do Lobo #1 because it's a DC book, and I can't do The Century #1 because it's a Marvel book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Cyclops #2 is also not a. It's a #2. It's not even a #1.
You have to do #2 show.
New #2s.
Mm-hmm.
World's Finest is issue 49.
Okay.
And I've got Nightwing,
Yep.
and I've got Racer X.
Okay.
This is a pretty fun publisher. They're doing a lot of really interesting stuff with using like Dick Tracy and Speed Racer characters. I think they also have the Phantom as well. And then I also have X-Men #27.
Okay.
Nice.
Do you recognize any of these characters except for Quentin Quire?
Is that Karma?
No, it's not Karma.
I don't recognize. Oh wait, is that? I don't know what her name is now.
Heidi?
No, the one on the right hand side. Her, yeah.
No, she's a new character.
Oh.
No, the one with the big hair on the right hand side.
Oh, that's Heidi. She's from your Generation Hope.
Yeah. That's
I think she goes. I think Temperance is what she's going by now.
She's changed her name a lot over the years.
Yeah,
I thought she was like Oya or something like that when she was first introduced.
Now she is Temper.
Okay.
Right.
Who's the kid with the red jacket?
He is a grown man who is an original character to this run. He can alter reality. So, the big premise to the X-Men book has been this group 3K that are setting up, like they've been experimenting with mutants, and one of those things is they have found a way to, or they've been experimenting with ways to activate the dormant X gene in non-mutants. So those two characters that we didn't recognize are two characters that were like adult humans who had like a regular life until 3K activated their X gene that would have, activated if they were teenagers but didn't for whatever reason. So they developed their powers out of nowhere.
Okay.
I guess, were they like teenagers during the whole decimation years and when no new mutants were being born?
It's hard to answer that with a sliding time skill because that would also imply that like a decade has passed. So like Cyclops and everyone would have to be like 10 years older. And Marvel isn't committing to that.
No way.
If a character has to get aged up, they get sent through time or another dimension for like 5 minutes and then come back a decade older. Which is what happened to Hope and
Except
Magic.
for kids, though. I was going to say, like, Franklin and Valeria Richards. Yeah, they have grown up very quickly.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't help the fact that Valeria is supposed to be like 4 years old, but they draw her and write her like she's a very short 12-year-old.
Some 12-year-olds are short.
Well, it's kind of like when we were talking about Normie Osborn and being Rascal.
Yeah.
Where, like, in the Red Goblin book, he's supposed to be like 8, but like he looks like he's 14. Because you don't want to draw like an 8-year-old kid getting punched around and stuff. Like, that just makes you feel weird. Hey, we should probably say that at some point the show started because I'm recording and we're talking about comic book related stuff, and this is a relaxed fit episode. So, hi.
Okay.
Welcome to Spark Adventures. My name is Corey. With me is Dylan and John. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Yeah, not too bad.
So, yeah, we're recording on not our usual day and not our regular time. So, we're going to be a little freeform and a little more of a relaxed kind of deal. So, the episode, I'm going to say probably we started the episode with me bitching about not being able to get Dead Kids, which was a new #1 through Oni Press. That's what I was aiming for this week, but it was sold out. And I was there on Wednesday, which implies that like enough people bought it that they sold out of it almost immediately.
That's good news.
It's great news for Oni Press.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very disappointed because it was kind of slim pickings when it came to new number ones.
At least all those dead kids didn't die for nothing then.
That's true. Oh no, it was Dead Teenagers. That was the name of the book. I mean, the premise was...
fuck them.
Yeah, they don't count anymore. Since 1997, 5 friends have been trapped in the ultimate nightmare as a mysterious entity forces them to relive their first prom night over and over again and re-kills them in new and in increasingly insane ways each time.
Okay.
So that's the premise, is that these characters are stuck in a loop where they keep dying and have been doing so for like 20 years.
Okay, how do you feel about that?
I mean, it was certainly interesting. Because the other options I had was Leonid the Vampire, The House of Yonda, #1, which is another Mike Mignola Curious Objects imprint, and I just did one of those, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then Horror Comics Leprechauns #1, which was like a horror anthology one-shot they put out for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah.
And then they didn't have Super Creep Show, and they didn't have Witchtober. I was like at the point where, like, if they have Witchtober, I'm gonna get Witchtober. Witchtober is clearly like a kid's book because these are the characters.
You're gonna buy that?
I was going to if I had no other choice.
Good lord.
Yeah, a lonely witch cat in Majo casts a friendship spell and conjures a zombie, a ghost, and a grim reaper cat. That was the premise of the book. I was like, I will read this before I read Leprechauns.
I think that's a good call, frankly. I am on board with that.
As an Irish person, does it make you feel weird that there are like horror leprechauns?
It makes me feel weird that Americans are bizarrely obsessed with leprechauns. Over here, the concept of leprechauns does not come up in conversation almost at all.
It comes up once a year for us, to be fair.
Unless we're talking about Americans. Now, isn't that kind of funny?
Well,
is it the only time leprechauns are mentioned in Ireland is when we're talking about America?
Well, there's also the it does come up when you talk about the Boston Celtics, because Lucky is their mascot.
We very rarely talk about the Boston Celtics. I gotta be honest with you; they're not as big over in Ireland as you think they might be.
There's no talk about Jason Tatum coming back from that ankle injury. Guy blew out
that
his
was
Achilles.
great. Sure, that was fantastic. But other than that,
they got high hopes for him. Now, I don't know if they're gonna make a championship run. There's some people saying the Boston Celtics are the best team in the East, but like, it's the East Coast. I mean, it's really up for grabs.
Yeah,
they play what sport?
Basketball.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. That's real quick, John. Is that the sport you thought he was gonna say?
Well, I mean, if it's leprechauns playing any sport, then basketball seems like the obvious one.
Yes,
a sport
100%.
known for height, where
So
someone who
obvious.
is 6'2" is short.
Yeah, super obvious. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
boy.
what they were born to play, not golf.
I'm looking at next week's new #1s, and it's looking a little dire as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, but hey, next week, DC and Marvel's Superman Spider-Man #1 comes out.
Will that be reviewed on the show? Oh, you can't review it in the show because it's DC and Marvel.
But it is interesting. Have you seen anything about this book so far?
The front cover.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right, the writers that are associated with are Mark Waid, Tom King, Matt Fraction, Sean Murphy, Gail Simone, Christopher Priest, Greg Rucka, and Jeff Lemire.
Okay.
Why do you need that many writers for one book?
Well, it's gonna have a bunch of shorts.
It loads of stories in it. Yeah, I assume it's like the Batman Deadpool one, where like there's one main story and then like 7 different smaller stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mark Waid is telling the story of Superman and Spider-Man team up. The other stories, Tom King is doing a tale of Lois Lane and Mary Jane Watson. Matt Fraction is doing Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen and Carnage. Sean Murphy is going to the future with Superboy from the Legion of Superheroes and Spider-Man 2099. Gail Simone is doing Power Girl meets the Punisher.
Oh, I love her.
Christopher Priest is doing Superboy Prime and Spider-Man right after he gets to the Black Symbiote.
Okay.
Greg Rucka is doing a race between the Daily Planet and the Daily Bugle.
Race.
Yes, I guess
To do what?
I guess to break a news story.
Oh, not just like having a
foot race.
100 meters.
And we also have a tale of who would win in a fair fight, Pa Kent or Uncle Ben. No, that's a joke. But it is Jeff Lemire writing a team up or a meetup between Pa Kent and Uncle Ben.
Cool.
So those are the backup stories for the Spider-Man Superman team up.
In the Deadpool and Batman one, they had a Batman Deadpool comic and then a Deadpool Batman comic. Are we doing that with this? Is there going to be Spider-Man, Superman, and then Superman, Spider-Man?
I don't know quite yet.
Cool. Good.
I do know that I was surprised to see this one because I knew they were going to do the Batman Deadpool and then the Deadpool Batman. So the fact that they're doing Spider-Man Superman was kind of a surprise.
Hey, real quick, you said this was coming out next month, right?
Next week.
Next week. Okay, cool. Because that means that whenever people watch this, it's been out for 3 weeks.
It's been out for a month.
Yeah.
So let us know what you thought about that in the comments. We'll get back to you in a month with our thoughts.
Wait till you see our review of these issues in August. You know, I would quite like to because we talked about Deadpool and Batman.
We did. It was a similar relaxed fit.
Yeah, I would quite like. I might take a trip up and buy. I haven't bought comics since since that.
Did you finish up the Uncle Scrooge book?
I did. I believe we talked about this.
We did.
Yeah. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I think Jason Aaron did what he could with 4 issues for sure. I was hoping for a more traditional DuckTales story, though, instead of this overarching 4-issue end of the world comic.
Right, exactly. Like we've got DuckTales. That's what DuckTales is known for. Like they go on an adventure and then there's twists and turns and he steals a treasure or whatever. Like it's a fun time. Maybe he just thought, oh, that they've done that already, but they haven't fought a bunch of weird alien robot ducks.
Aliens.
Yeah,
with coin-operated robots.
Yeah, we gotta do that. That's a great. And then the whole world fucking falls apart because there's no coins. I'm like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Quite prophetic when it turns out, no, we're gonna run out of coins and oil and shit. And they're like, well, you know.
Yeah, well.
Not that far away from the truth, but I felt like it was. At the ending, it was a bit weird as well, where like he forgets everything. I'm like, what is this? You know, I liked it up until I thought the last issue was a bit. That's not how I thought it should end or wanted it to end. So I thought that the end of it was a bit whatever, but I did like the rest of it. You know, 3 out of 4.
It was 3 issues out of 4 were pretty good.
Yeah.
There is another Uncle Scrooge comic that's being put out by a different publisher right now.
Okay.
That is more of a traditional DuckTales kind of deal.
When is that?
Oh, it's been coming out. So it's probably at this point like 6-7 issues in.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to check and see if my comic guys have kept them for me. I doubt they have, but I'll double check.
I remember you did say something about like hold my DuckTales books for me. So yeah, Dylan, it's Uncle Scrooge is the name of the book. It's from Fantagraphics Comics, and it has its issue 6 comes out March the 25th, which is next week at time of recording. So if you go but if you go and pick up Spider-Man Superman, you can also pick up Uncle Scrooge number 6.
I would like to pick up issues 1 to 5 as well. That would help.
We were talking. This is kind of a little follow up on the last episode where we were talking about the Cosmic Marvel. Nova number 5 came out last week. I did read it because I thought it was going to be the last issue. It's not. Maybe they're going to squeeze out to issue 6 as the last issue. But remember how we talked about when they had to fix the Beast problem with X-Force? They did it in like 2 issues with like the bulk of it happening in 1 issue. It felt very much like that. Like in issue 4, this kind of scoundrel pilot ends up joining Nova's crew. And then like within the first 2 pages of this issue, the guy's already turned on him and sold him out to the Skrull and the Kree.
Good pacing.
and also Star-Lord is somewhat getting redeemed in the process, but like also it's getting very much rushed because it looks like this is going to be the book they redeem Star-Lord in after they made the big change where he kind of turned heel and became like leader of the Galactic Union.
Is this like the John Cena heel turn where like he turned heel and then nobody bought
Yeah.
it, so it's good now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, pretty much. It's quite
Good now.
literally the issue started with like Nova taking off his helmet and getting into a fist fight with Star-Lord because he's like, I don't need powers to beat your ass. And
Which
now
is
that
correct.
and now they're kind of like, you know, they got into a fist fight, found out that the Kree and the Skrull are after them. Another member of Star-Lord's crew, or not Star-Lord's crew, but Nova's crew reveals that they have this disease that turned them into a giant tentacle monster. That came out of
I had
fucking
I
nowhere.
had that. I had that for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very much like this the person writing it, who I believe is Jed McKay, was under the belief that he was going to have 10 issues to tell a story and is now having to wrap it up very quickly.
This thing is really like annoying me about Marvel, that where they're not giving people enough time to flesh out their stories. Like it seems weird to me to be able to say to somebody, "Hey, you know, you've got all this time to tell a story, so you plot it out as a writer would. You plot out the whole thing, 10 issues, 10 story beats, everything, the way it works, pacing, all that stuff." It seems it's incredibly unfair for Marvel to be able to go, "Oh, hey, cool, you're halfway through the run. Fuck it, you just
It's
wrap
cool.
it up. Wrap
Yep.
it up. Like, we're done."
Yeah.
Like, like even regardless of like, um, seals and stuff like that, Marvel are the ones commissioning it. They're the ones that say, "Yes, we want you to do this amount of issues." Surely, like legally, they are not allowed to midway through that contract go, "We're going to change the rules. Sorry, fuck you." Like that doesn't seem correct.
Yeah, I don't know how the actual finance piece of it works. I don't know if like the guy like if they, hey, we're going to bring you in, because I mean that was like in 2024, that's what we referenced in the last issue. The publisher for Marvel said like everybody's coming in, we're guaranteeing 10 issues before a book gets canceled. Now we're 2 years later and we're getting like we're finding out that stuff's actually more like if sales of the issues 2 and 3, if pre-orders aren't strong, they're canceling it at 5. Then
Right.
are people signing on with the belief they're doing 10 issues? Because that's what this feels like with Nova. Like it feels like there's 5 issues worth of story getting crammed into one.
But that's it. Like if they can say we're guaranteeing you 10 issues, and then halfway through that they go, you get 6 issues max. Like that's not a guarantee.
I mean, do you think it's one of those things where they got paid regardless of however many they put out,
I
or
don't
what?
know. 'Cause I thought the rules were, and again, we don't know the
Yeah, we don't know the
finance,
contracts.
but I thought it was like a per issue thing. Surely, like there's no point in you getting paid for issues you didn't make because you haven't made them yet.
Yeah,
That also seems illegal for you to be able to do that in a different way. So surely you get paid per issue, and if you are promised 10 issues and you only get to make 5, then you don't get the story that you want to tell, but you also don't get paid for the other 5 issues. So that feels, and I assume some of the writers, I again don't know how it works, but they might get like residuals or like it might not
oh,
even be a.
I don't think residuals are a thing Marvel does. I mean, Ed Brubaker apparently was lucky to get a acknowledgement for creating Winter Soldier in the movie, you know.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well,
this is Stan Lee's Marvel at the end of the day, where he was notorious for shit like that too. Like,
hypothetically though, let's just say even if they got a penny for every comic that's sold, right?
yeah,
If you're not selling 5 issues because you can't make them, that's money off the table for you.
yeah. I don't.
That's a lot, you know.
Yeah, because like you said, we talked about this when they announced From the Ashes, they were like, hey, here's our 3 core X-Men books, and then here's some other X-Men titles. And then we find out that some of them, like, you know, for some of them, they were legitimate ongoing. But then they did the Age of Revelation, and we come back from Age of Revelation, and they're like, hey, by the way, 2 of these X titles are back. So X-Men and Uncanny X-Men. Exceptional X-Men, that's done and over with. That's going to now be called X-Men United, because that's the current new X-Men book that just came out, where Emma Frost has basically used Mr. Sinister technology and has created a multi-dimensional school for all of the mutants, and everybody's real keen about them having the school except for Cyclops, who's like, this is kind of fucked. Like, why are we using Sinister technology? You know we can't trust that shit. It's Sinister.
Mm-hmm.
He's got, like, that's just a back door for him to get in.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost are all for it, so that means Cyclops is a dickhead and wrong. Is what I've learned over the years. But anyway, so those are the 3 core X-Men books. Wolverine's still around, but now here's some other X-Men titles, but these are miniseries instead.
Hey, while we're talking about X-Men and Wolverine, can we really quickly talk about that fucking Wolverine thing?
Yeah. All right. So the context. Yeah, it was yesterday. It was either yesterday or the day before. I sent you guys a screenshot of a news story that I think it's Wolverine issue number 20 that's coming out this summer, where the premise is that Wolverine's claws are shattered, and I guess that means they're not coming back, which it's going to require some explanation because like his healing factor, that I mean the shit should be regrowing back, and he's regrown everything else.
Correct.
So Wolverine's claws are breaking. So that's where we are. I don't know the context. I don't know who or what, but they're like, this is the new era in Wolverine. He doesn't have claws anymore.
Well, can I ask why? When did I'm not up to date with a lot of the stuff that's going on? Why does he not have adamantium?
I mean, he does. If you look in the image, you see the adamantium.
So how?
Yeah.
I have not been following. When From the Ashes started, I was reading the Wolverine comic because it did relaunch with a new number 1. I was checking it out. Plug for new number 1s, except not gonna be talking about Marvel or DC books. Sorry. But anyway, the premise on that one was that there was some sort of like ancient force behind adamantium that was like finding other people who had adamantium and possessing them and going after Wolverine. So I don't know if it has something to do with that this deity is like back or what. Because even when I was reading Gail Simone's Uncanny, while Wolverine was a member of the team and a part of the book, he wasn't a major part of the book or a major part of the team. He was kind of there to be like someone to be in the fight scenes and occasionally bounce some advice off of, like Rogue would bounce some advice off of him, because that book is very much a Rogue and these new kid characters book where everybody else is sort of like kind of a supporting character. So there was really nothing indicating there's something wrong with Wolverine in that book either. So unless this is like a newer development, I'm not sure what's wrong with him.
Right. Is that one of those things where like they don't tell everybody? Like this writer came up with this idea and they're like, that's great, but they didn't tell the other people who write Wolverine?
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, the question then becomes like, what are we gonna do with Wolverine if his claws are breaking, you know?
It's such an interesting concept as well. Like, oh, he's not got claws. Like, well, he's still Wolverine at the end of the day.
Right.
He's still going to be like the same surly, angry, violent person he's always been. So,
right, like,
big whoop.
Right. To me, that this just seems like one of those like, this has never happened before. Wolverine's never been without his claws before. You're like, yeah, there's a really good reason for that. It's because it's a stupid idea.
Right,
you know what I mean? It sounds like they're just doing it as a surprise thing. It's never been done before. Let's see what happens. But I'm like, nobody wants to see. He's gonna get the back. He's gonna.
Yeah. So here is it's the current writer of Wolverine is Saladin Ahmed. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Saladin Ahmed. Great. I think you would like his fiction books.
Okay.
Dylan, he's got a very weird sense of world building about him. I think you dig it, but like I've not been super into his comics, but his fiction's good. So these are the solicitations. This is Wolverine number 21. This is coming out in June 10th. Break. Logan faces the aftermath of the unthinkable as he and Nightcrawler embark on the perilous journey ahead, but the true test lies in what they'll discover. And in issue 22, which the solicitation for that is June 24th, Wolverine has been beaten down to the bone. His adamantium claws shattered. His bones snapped down to nubs. This is Wolverine at his most brutalized and most beat up. But when an animal is backed into a corner, they can be at their most dangerous. Wolverine must fight his way through a gauntlet of enemies for his very survival. Villainous plots turn, and you don't want to miss the ultimate trial for even if Wolverine can reach his enemies, will he remain a mutant? So I'm guessing he's losing his healing factor, or his mutant abilities, which would explain why his claws aren't coming back. So did he get no more mutanted?
Mutanted.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds stupid.
Because it's like we've seen. So like the first time this happened to Wolverine, you would say, is in the 90s when Magneto took the adamantium out of his body, right?
Yep.
Because that's when like the pain was so bad that he turned into the weird feral version of himself that didn't have a nose and he had bone claws.
Okay, so that bit was weird, but like the whole bit of Magneto pulling the adamantium out of him was like insanely cool. Like that's sick as hell. Like, you know, like it had impact, it had meaning. It was he did that. Yeah, well, he did that, and then Xavier did the thing to Magneto. Like it was a big moment. It wasn't just like, hey, what happens if? It was like, well, no, this is there's consequences and stuff. The feral thing, I'm like, I don't quite understand how his whole face changed.
I don't get why his face changed. That's for sure. I do get the idea that like the pain was so bad that it broke him.
Yes, that makes sense. But he's changed his biology.
Yeah. Well, and then he's also been through as much, like I imagine, way more painful shit than that. In recent years, and they didn't do that to him.
No.
Like I hope that I would want them to be consistent. Getting all the adamantium pulled off his bones by Magneto was so painful, it turned him into a feral little mutant monster man for a while. Like not even talking about the physiology change, but just like the mental change.
Mm-hmm.
So every other time that he has been like nearly incinerated, atomized, brutally like wounded, that was just a walk in a park, apparently.
That's the most painful thing in the world is having adamantium pulled through your skin.
I guess
being atomized is a piece of piss.
Don't
worry about it. Easy. But adamantium through the skin, oof, that'll hurt.
Yeah, so like he's had that happen to him, and then he's lost his healing ability. We've had that happen to him already.
Yeah.
Then, because that's how he got put into the adamantium cocoon, right? That's what killed him in the death of Wolverine. And he was dead for a good bit of time. It doesn't feel like he was, but he was gone for like a year or so, right?
I think it was more like 2 or 3 years.
Kind of impressive. I mean, they kind of bullshitted by having Old Man Logan around, but
Yeah.
They had like 5 other Wolverines. Yeah. Like, he's still here.
Yeah, he's still around. That's it. Sabretooth was like, that was part with the Axis storyline where Sabretooth had a conscience and was like a good guy. Yep. So you had Laura Kinney running around as X-23, and I think that's when she first started going by Wolverine.
There were so many Wolverines that we were like, we actually missed the old Wolverine. Because if the old Wolverine comes back, then we'll have one Wolverine.
Yeah. Well, except we've had 2 because Laura Kinney never stopped being Wolverine.
But also, whenever he came back, like Old Man Logan was still around, wasn't he?
No, he got sent back
for a little bit. Yeah, he didn't last long.
Well, he's old.
And then there was Jimmy, who was the kid Wolverine from the old Ultimate Universe, brought in.
Yeah.
Kid Wolverine.
Yeah, there's like a blonde
Wolverine.
There's a blonde Wolverine.
He's disappeared as well.
Yeah, he fucked right off. He's like they treat him like they treat Nate Gray. He's just gone every now and then.
What happened to Nate Gray?
I think he's back for the Jeff. Not Jeff. Who am I thinking of? Yeah, Jeff Loeb. X-Men of the Apocalypse thing, which was to celebrate the anniversary of Age of Apocalypse, but then like one issue came out and then it got delayed for a while.
That sounds like Jeff Loeb.
Because it's Jeff Loeb. Quit bringing him back. At least don't start putting it out until he's done.
At least he's consistent. You can rely on him to not make a deadline.
You can rely on him not to be reliable.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he still gets to make his issues, and it takes him 7 years to make them. And people who do their issues on time get cut off at issue 5. Like, isn't that crazy?
It is insane.
Mm.
That's
doesn't
what's
make
weird is
sense.
like a lot of these stories that have been coming out about these books getting canceled or pulled or whatever. Like the thing I pointed out, like so that was the thing is like DC has a Poison Ivy comic. Poison Ivy is at issue 40. And Iron Man got canceled at issue 10.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on over at Marvel that they cannot keep
Right.
a book out?
But yeah, but like, who's writing them? Like, what are they about? Like, what's happening?
Well,
yeah. Like,
because
it's
that Iron
surely
Man.
got to come down to the creative part of it.
Right. If an Iron Man book is so bad,
I
they
just
can
know
only
that,
get
I
to
know
issue
that he was
7.
walking around in some really weird looking armor with a sword.
Well, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They keep doing weird shit, and I don't know why. Like, we were talking about it after I sent you guys the Wolverine's bone snapping storyline, and you were like, Mary Jane's Venom, Black Panther's in space. Like, why can't they just
Again,
do the shit they normally do?
isn't that
Mm.
like part of what I was saying? Like, Iron Man has a sword now. No,
Doctor
nobody,
Strange is in Asgard because he's not Sorcerer Supreme.
nobody was begging for Tony Stark, Iron Man, to have a sword because he doesn't need one.
It did
But
look
a
kind of
writer
cool,
at
though.
some point said, "Hey, this has never been done before. Let's give him a sword." And they missed the just because it's never been done before doesn't mean it's worth doing. It's the same with that Wolverine thing. There's a good reason why we didn't have his bone snap. Because nobody, but who cares, right? That doesn't make for a good story.
I mean,
Iron Man, one of the coolest thing about Iron Man is he's got loads of fucking guns and shit. He's lasers in his chest. He doesn't need a fucking sword. What the fuck would he need a sword for? Short range attacks. He's got a fucking laser. Like that's short sightedness on the behalf of the writer. Surely, like you're not writing for the character. You're just making up your own shit and attaching it to Iron Man. You know?
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, to quote Dr. Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park, you're so busy asking if we could, no one asked if we should.
Exactly. Don't you feel like that's what's happening with these comic guys? Like they're just not.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's weird because like when I'm looking at the next couple of weeks of what's coming out at Marvel, right? And
Okay.
one of the books that has the
Wait,
highest.
what's already come out in Marvel?
What has already come out in Marvel?
Yeah.
What has already come out in Marvel, and like one of the books that have the highest like number count right now is X-Men because it's at 27, and
Wow.
it's at 27 because there's a couple of like every other month it comes out twice in the month. But like Spider-Man and fucking X-Men are the only thing that's been like really coming out consistently. And kind of going back to what we're talking about, like not letting the characters do what they are. There's a series out now, and I don't know if you guys do this because you don't strike me as Thor readers, but it's called The Mortal Thor.
Oh, I read Thor.
Okay, cool. So have you heard anything about The Mortal Thor?
Yeah, I just finished reading the Immortal Thor, which was like the run before that, which led up to it. And then at the end of that run, he basically dies, but finds a way to kind of, I think, connect with the Donald Blake persona and create like a new version of himself on Earth. But it's like,
Yeah.
he's not Thor at all. He's got no powers.
So don't
Beta
you
Ray
read that,
Bill has
Dylan?
basically taken his place.
What do you mean he's not? So he connected with Donald Blake, the human who has no powers.
To become a
Thor.
different guy with no powers.
Hey, like what the fuck does that
All
mean?
right. So here's the premise behind it. Following a battle against the gods of Utgard, Thor is slain by Loki, which fulfills a dark prophecy and shatters the Rainbow Bridge. To protect Asgard, Thor is reborn as immortal, losing his divine powers, his memories, and his status as a god. Thor now lives on Earth as Sigurd Jarlsson, a Norwegian construction worker, unaware of his former identity. Despite being a mortal, Sigurd must navigate a world where Norse gods have been erased from memory and bring back the magic of the gods. The series is a grounded mythological journey where a powerless Thor faces more intimate and dangerous threats. This is by Al Ewing, who I think is one of the more reliable Marvel authors, but it is still the very thing of like, hey, let's take Thor, who's known for being a god, and just he's not a god anymore. He's just a guy who does construction work.
Can I really quick just say, grounded, mythological?
Yeah, a bit of a it's a bit of a twist in it.
Did we? Oh, it's never been done before. We don't need to do it. Just do fun stuff. Or like all the other stuff, like Spider-Man going into space and shit, or Mary Jane being Venom. It's never been done before. Don't do it then. Do something else. Be something fun. I hate Spider-Man going to space. What's he doing? What the fuck? This is what we were talking about with the film. Where it's like finally we get to see him being like a grounded, real-ass Spider-Man. He hasn't been a grounded, real-ass Spider-Man in the comics for fucking years. It's not the same Spider-Man. This is not why people like Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. So, okay, we're going to do some juxtaposition real quick, right?
Okay. Sure.
So you have at Marvel right now, Doctor Strange is in Asgard because he's no longer Sorcerer Supreme. The Scarlet Witch is now the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yep.
You have Mary Jane as Venom. Wolverine is losing his claws somehow. I feel like the beginning of that last Star Wars movie where it's like somehow Palpatine is returned. Somehow Wolverine has lost his claws. Somehow Mary Jane is Venom. Somehow Thor is now immortal. Named Sigmund. Anyway, you have all this weird stuff going on there. But over in DC, they are also doing some weird shit where it's like Aquaman is now Emperor Aquaman, with the idea that he's going into space. But I read the first issue of that, and they kind of explained it in a way that kind of makes sense, in a sense. So in DC, they have these elemental forces. There's the green, which is like synonymous with Swamp Thing, right? So they introduced the green, and that's with Swamp Thing. And then there was the red, which is with Animal Man. They've created the concept of the blue, which is water. And that through the stuff that has happened, Aquaman has become sort of the protector of the blue, the elemental force of water. And that there are other galaxies out there that are planets of water that are in danger, and he feels this calling that he has to go to them to save them. So there is there is an explanation as to why Aquaman is going into space, that he is now a protector of all of the oceans and not just Earth's ocean.
Okay, but I also would argue that with a lot of the other stuff we talked about, there is an explanation for it.
There is. I don't know if it's a great one.
A good explanation.
It's not a great, like, that's the thing, is like there's an explanation. I don't know if it's a great one, but it's an explanation. I still don't quite understand Mary Jane as Venom, aside from her time as Jackpot, which is still a weird thing to do with her anyway. Like, damn near killed her, and the only thing keeping her alive is the Venom symbiote. How?
Is this what happens with Venom?
I guess. It also is weird because like she's...
Eddie had cancer as well, and the Venom symbiote kept him alive for years.
How? Yep. Does he eat it? Does he eat the cancer? Venom eating the cancer?
I guess it keeps
you would imagine,
at bay.
Yeah. You would imagine so, because Venom, the symbiote, needs Eddie Brock to be alive for it to continue to exist. That was before the symbiote would just fucking suck
anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was
Eddie Brock.
Because I was gonna say, like, does that mean that does the symbiote just need a body?
Well, it's the symbiote. You would imagine.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, if Eddie was like near death, is he the only thing keeping Eddie alive? Is Eddie a walking corpse at this point?
Well, the thing about that was...
That's like some Doom Patrol shit, really.
Well, at the time, whenever Eddie did have cancer, he lost the suit.
Yeah.
That's when McDonald Gargan was Venom.
Can I tell you, I love your insistence on keeping that going. Because like you said it when we were talking about the so also context for your listeners, we were talking about the Spider-Man Brave New World trailer. Is that what it's called? Brave New World?
No. Brand New Day.
Brand New Day. Spider-Man 5 or whatever it is. We'll just call it Spider-Man 4. Anyway, in the trailer you see the Scorpion, and he's clearly a man of like Latino descent. and you're just like, I don't get why McDonald Gargan's not wearing a mask. I'm like, I'm not sure he's McDonald Gargan at this point.
That's his name.
Like a very Irish name for a man of that skin complexion.
What? How else? What? What would you abbreviate Mac to? If not McDonald.
Mackenzie.
That's not a Latino name either, John.
It could be.
Could be. We all know the Scots came over to settle Mexico first.
It's either Scotland or it's from Ireland. You get to choose. You have a Scottish scorpion over here, an Irish scorpion. But that's his name. So
I know. I just appreciate that.
Eddie had lost the suit by then, so he was dying, like legitimately. And then the reason that he stopped dying was he got the anti-venom thing.
So I guess my other problem with that, right? I'm so weirded out sometimes when, like, maybe this is an example, because Grant Morrison talks about it in their book Super Gods, about how adults overthink, and I don't know how much of it is me overthinking, but like realistically, I feel like Mary Jane should be horrified that she's bound to the symbiote, because she knows what the symbiote's capable of, because not only was her former boyfriend possessed by it when he was wearing the symbiote, former husband. What is it? I don't know if the marriage is recognized or not. It's hard to tell these days. If he undid their marriage, I don't know if that counts as divorce, but
what? Very interesting.
Is it legally divorce? Is it divorce? He just said, like, I want your marriage. He didn't, like, he made them forget that they got married, but like, did he also make the county clerk?
When he said, I want your marriage, does that mean she's married to Mephisto?
That's also a weird point. But anyway, right? Like, not only that, but like Venom has like tried to kill her in the past for being associated with Spider-Man. Like, I just feel like she should be horrified by like having this thing in her, because that's what it is. It's in her.
Yes, I totally agree. Yeah. It's like that happened. She saw it happen with Peter Parker. She saw it happen with Eddie Brock. It happened to Anne Wayne.
Had him with Flash Thompson.
Flash didn't get fucked up from it, but like the other guy did.
It's weird. Out of every person who's ever had the symbiote, Flash Thompson's time with the symbiote was like straight up like it was just a costume.
Yeah,
it's so weird that they handled it that way with him.
Most of that,
I think to begin with
the legs.
In the Agent Venom run, was it like where?
Well, that was Lemire too, right?
Yeah, like to begin with, he was sort of dealing with the symbiote, trying to, give in to its urges and stuff. Yeah. But then it didn't really continue on, and like I guess they resolved whatever issues there were.
I mean that
I would say as well, like maybe like there's been more, like over the last few years, there's been more kind of heroic instances of Venom being around than villainous, and maybe that's kind of tempered whatever like fears Mary Jane had about the symbiote before.
Do you think Mary Jane would know that? Do you think Mary Jane, after all the fucking shit she went through, like personally, that she saw, that she witnessed, and then she reads on the news that the symbiote's nice now, she's like, oh, cool, suck me up, baby. Like, I don't think
I think she's still sort of involved in Spider-Man's world and has probably experienced it firsthand and stuff, and she knows Flash Thompson as well. So I don't know. I'm trying very hard to like
should
make
get
some sort of sense for this.
You should get employed by Marvel because you're the only one trying to make sense of this shit.
Yeah, it is. It is like I had that thought of like, man, do you think she'd be more horrified about this?
Mm-hmm.
But like she's being all cheeky with it, and like, oh, like I think they even like brought it up that like before she broke up with the infamous Paul, that he was kind of creeped out by it because it was just like, I can't be intimate with you because there's this other thing there too, and she's like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, don't worry, it will fuck you.
Yeah,
so
don't worry, he has his own mind.
Real quick, because we were talking about Mary Jane and Venom. I had this idea today. I was watching a thing that was about the Spider-Man 94 animated TV show.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? And the end of that was the Mary Jane that Peter Parker thought he knew was like a clone. And then the real Mary Jane like went through a time portal and then whatever the fuck. And then Peter Parker chased after her. And there was no logical, good conclusion to that. Boy, they figured out Marvel back in 1994, didn't they? But then I was thinking about the Mary Jane we have now that's like going out with this guy Paul, or was going out with this guy Paul, and is totally okay with the Venom symbiote. I'm like, well, wasn't the gimmick with her and Paul like they were trapped in some kind of like other
Other
dimension or
dimension,
something?
yeah,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
fake kids.
So is this Mary Jane?
It's an interesting point.
Is it?
Mm,
Is
I'm
this a
pretty
clone? Is the other Mary
sure
Jane
it.
somewhere else? It would explain why Mary Jane is now suddenly okay with being Venom. It would explain
Yeah.
why she's suddenly okay with going out with that guy Paul, or like being a bit of a jerk, or being like suddenly okay with all this stuff that's going on. I'm not saying that this is what's happening. I have a feeling that Marvel will let us down once again and go, "Yep, that was Mary Jane the whole time. Suck it
I
up."
mean, it would be an easy way to retcon it for sure, and
And
basically undo all of that stuff. There's
there
a
it
lot.
is.
I feel like there's a lot Marvel needs to undo. To be frank, I feel like what they've done to Ben Riley is a big one. The whole
Mm-hmm.
chasm thing, I think, was
Terrible.
I was so excited with that whole like run where he was like the corporate backed Spider-Man kind of deal. I'm like, what's an interesting concept? But it just was set to set up him turning into a villain, which is like not interesting at all. Like
Nope.
there's
Oh,
so
so out
many
of character.
and there's so many fucking Spider-Man spin-offs right now. Cause like there's Ghost Spider, there is the Miles Morales Spider-Man, there's Spider-Boy, they just introduced Spider-Girl, there's like the Indian Spider-Man, there's like I think 2 versions of Spider-Man 2099. But it's like for some reason they think having Kane and Ben Riley around is too much. And it's like, really? Like the 2 established ones? That's too
Mm,
much.
Yeah. Well, also because the way they write them is shit. So
Yeah, I just really don't I don't get what's going on in Marvel. It feels like nothing over there feels inspired. Like it
mm-hmm.
feels like doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff, and every time they go like this is a new creative team on the Avengers, like I look at the creative team, I look at the lineup of the characters and like this is uninteresting. Like I've not it feels like the only writer that I really like at Marvel right now is Jed McKay.
Mm-hmm.
And I checked out his Captain America that he just started. I read the first issue of that and I'm like, well, this is an interesting premise, but I'm not going to keep reading this.
Corey, you love Gail Simone.
Gil, well, I don't like what she's doing with Uncanny though.
He has a horse.
They still, by the way, still haven't figured out what that horse's deal is. There's still something weird going on with that horse. Because
So you have to keep reading to find out.
the girl's mutant power isn't involving isn't the horse. She's like she can create flame constructs, I think, but like pyro. But I don't know what the horse has to do with anything.
It's got you intrigued.
It's doing brain surgery, according to us.
Oh, I forgot about that. Classic bit.
Oh, it was one of my favorite thumbnails.
That was good. I did like that one.
But yeah, I don't know. There's just I've been reading a lot of comics lately and checking out a lot of the independent stuff as well because of like I said, because doing new #1. And it just feels like DC is doing a better job at like trusting their creative teams and not pulling the plug on stuff so quickly.
Yeah.
The only time that, like I said, we talked a little bit about this, the last time I can remember that a book got canceled somewhat prematurely at DC was they canceled Red Hood after issue 1 because the writer was a little too happy about Charlie Kirk getting shot in the neck, you know?
I remember that.
A lot of people were really bummed out that Green Arrow got canceled, but it got canceled at issue 31. Like, that's not bad. They gave it 31 issues, and, like, the sales weren't there. That happens, especially with Green Arrow. When you get to those C and B-list characters, sometimes it really is luck of the draw. But they gave them 31 issues to try to turn it around.
Which is fair.
It's just fair, absolutely. I had I was bummed out about it because I love Green Arrow, but I can see what they tried, you know, and what they're doing with the character now is he and Black Canary are moving over to Detective Comics to be characters with Batman in those stories. So they're still keeping the characters around, which I don't know what they're going to do at Marvel with all these cosmic characters. Probably nothing.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
They're gonna establish all this space shit, and then they're not gonna do anything about it for like 7 years, and then they're gonna have a big like comic event where all the cosmic guys come together again, and you're gonna go, remember this guy from 7 years ago? And we're all gonna go,
No.
no,
Nope.
no,
Not at all.
no. Remember your horse? And we'll go, yeah, of course you remember horse.
He's a great
Can't forget horse. It's amazing.
He also book
But
had Sentinel
cosmic
dogs.
kids-
They were dogs. They were Sentinels.
Sentinel dogs?
Sentinel dogs.
Who cares?
That's Gale though.
But also, like, what benefit would that have if you were making a robot? Like, why would you like? Listen, the Sentinels that look like humans aren't working against the X-Men.
Dogs.
But a dog will do it. Yeah, it'll figure it out.
Killed one of them. Yeah, though it killed the one who had the whole their whole power was like talking to dead people, so it didn't stick. But you know,
Mm. Didn't kill the horse though.
didn't kill the horse.
I kill a horse.
Yeah, I don't get it. So I don't know. You guys are big Marvel guys. For
Yes.
me, like when I've been looking over at Marvel, I'm not really seeing too much. It makes me excited to like check them out.
I think we talked about it before, how like when you're writing comics, you can't just write the same old thing every time. There's
Sure.
got to be some sort of evolution to the characters there, and like trying to push them beyond just, what everyone knows. But I think creatively they are just pushing these characters and the storylines in weird directions which no one really wants to see, and that's like the crux of their problem. Like if they could find the balance between keeping the characters familiar enough with what people know and love, and then pushing them in more like logical directions, then who knows? Maybe a book would actually last beyond 5 issues.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think I really do think they're too obsessed with trying to do something new and shocking with these characters instead of trying to be like, well, what's a good story? Like, what if
Exactly.
people want to read? Or what do I believe is a good story? As opposed to like what's gonna grab because like this has grabbed headlines. Oh, Wolverine lost his claws. People are gonna talk about that. Podcasts like this are gonna talk about this for.
But we're talking
weeks.
about it for the wrong reason, because we're talking about going, this is stupid. Like we're not gonna read
Doesn't
it.
matter. Doesn't matter. We're talking about it, right? And people are gonna buy the book to see what happens because we're all talking about how shit it is. And this is what we're saying is that's not necessarily a good way to run a business. Is to just run it on hearsay and shock value. Like maybe you could just be good at the stories.
So here's the thing that I feel like is a separation of like what we're talking about as a good example and a bad example. So one of the miniseries they announced for after Age of Revelation ended was a Cyclops miniseries. I already showed you the cover of issue number 2. The premise of that is Cyclops is stranded in the Arctic tundra, or in the forest, because it doesn't really look like the tundra. There's not a lot of snow that I've seen, but his visor is broken, so it means he can't open his eyes. Because if he opens his eyes, he's just gonna obliterate everything in front of him. So he's lost in the forest, he can't see, and the Reavers are after him. Easy premise. What we know about Cyclops is control. That's why he has to have the visor. You remove that and becomes a complication. So now he has to make his way back home whilst also being hunted by mutant hunters. Easy premise. Right. That works.
Right.
They're trying to... It seems like what's happening in Wolverine is to take that same idea, but kind of dumb by just the sound of it. Like Wolverine's claws are snapping off. Like, okay, we know that he can fight though. Like we know that he's more than capable of it. The dude was a fucking like samurai ninja or whatever the fuck he was doing in Japan. Like it's not like you've made his life more complicated. You remove something that he's used to, yes, but that's not as debilitating as like Cyclops can't open his fucking eyes.
It's not the same.
Also, like Vega in Street Fighter has those claws he can stick on his hand. Why doesn't Wolverine just get a pair of those and he's got his claws back?
Done.
Exactly.
Easy. Vega figured it out.
Vega figured it out, and he only needs one of them.
Exactly. And he can climb up the big fence.
Yeah.
Vega was my favorite character.
And get played by
He was
Orville
like,
Peck.
my dad, I don't know, but I mean, I guess he wears a mask. I don't know, but
I feel like that might be the only reason they hired him.
honestly, I believe that's the only reason.
That Street Fighter movie looks bizarre for that reason.
Questionable.
Questionable, yes. Fucking Cody Rhodes as Guile is still a choice.
Tell you what, though, right? Roman Reigns as Akuma, you're like, I could see that.
I mean, Cody as Guile, I'm fine with. I just like, boy, it looks weird, but I'm fine with it.
I tell you what, Cody Rhodes, I bet right now is thanking his lucky stars that he got the American flag tattooed in his fucking neck whenever he decided to play All American Guile.
Yeah,
like
All-American
that
Guile.
couldn't have worked out any better. You know?
Let's pitch it. Let's just do a little sidestep into that territory. Is that a movie, Dylan? I know you're a Street Fighter guy. Is that a movie you're interested in seeing?
Yes, in a manner of speaking. Yes, in that kind of like morbid curiosity kind of thing, where you're like, I have to see how bad this film's gonna be. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that kind of way. I know somebody who is super into Wuthering Heights and had to see the new Wuthering Heights film to see just how bad it was. Spoiler alert, it's fucking terrible.
I've heard it's bad.
Oh, it's bad. Like, I can't describe how bad it is, but she had to see it to know, to understand. And I feel like, not to draw parallels between Wuthering Heights, a classic in literature, and fucking Street Fighter.
A classic in video gaming.
Yeah.
Well known for its narrative structure.
Yeah, we all know the plot of Street Fighter is
too long to talk about right now.
Exactly.
So
There's not enough time in the day.
Yeah. So, but I like Street Fighter enough to know that this film is probably going to suck. But I just have to see. I feel like I have to see it.
What do you think about Kenny Omega as Alex?
We've talked about this. I fucking hate it.
I know.
I hate it. I'm so angry.
I know someone who's a big Kenny Omega fan, and I've told them about your reaction to it, and they're like, well, it just doesn't seem like Dylan has like a sense of fun. I'm like, I feel like Dylan just fucking hates Kenny Omega.
Guys, you've known me for a while. Yeah, I think that you would both agree that I definitely do not. The one thing you can say about me,
serious person I know.
I am not a fun person.
Never once said something facetiously.
I'm so unfun. Like, I have no sense of humor.
None whatsoever.
So just really hard and boring.
All right, so John, as someone you're a resident go-to movie guy, what are your thoughts have been from what you've seen of the Street Fighter movie?
I mean, I'm not as invested in it as Dylan, but like, I mean, I'd watch it still. I'm not going to rush out to the cinema to watch it, but when it's streaming, I'll check it out.
I feel like it's one of those you gotta have to see in a movie theater, but you have to see it for that experience level of it. So I saw the 90s Street Fighter movie in the movie theater, and I have very fond memories of that. I remember people fucking laughing at Zangief going, "Quick, change the channel."
Yes, love that bit.
Great joke. Great joke.
Yep.
Pulled it off perfectly fine.
That's the thing. Parts of that film are great.
Oh, very memorable. The M. Bison, speech of "For me was just a Tuesday." Fucking brilliant line. It's such a shit movie, but it has so many memorable scenes.
Well, the best thing about that film is that like Raul Julia does not phone it in.
No.
He is a diamond in a big rough. Like, that film sucks ass, and he is just a shining example of fucking pro.
He was literally dying making it as well, and still
it was cancer.
Stole the show.
I mean,
there is so Christopher Walken has that similar kind of thing to him, where it's like the movie. I saw someone theorize a long time ago that Christopher Walken will be over the top and absurd in movies that he's meant to be serious in, and deadly serious in movies that he's meant to not take seriously at all.
Yeah.
Like the Country Bears movie that Disney put out there, like it's his most sinister that he's been in a long time. And it's like some movie with people in bear costumes for all intents and purposes.
I haven't seen it.
Nor should you. But it's like one of those, he's weirdly sincere in it the whole time. But like, okay, my opinion on this Street Fighter movie, the casting is fucking insane, which we've kind of talked about. I like David
Yep.
Dastmalchian,
Mm.
and I'll see him eat up some scenery as in Bison.
Mhm.
I'm a fan. The rest
Cool.
of the casting, I don't really, you know, I know who Orville Peck is, and I know Jason Momoa because he's in everything these days, and I know, I know the WWE wrestlers that are in it. Aside from that, I don't really think I'm familiar with anybody else.
Was it Andrew Schultz? Isn't he Dan?
Yes.
Yes, he's Dan Hibiki.
I think that's perfect character, like casting, and that I think he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
So that's perfect casting for Dan because it's Street Fighter lore. Dan's like a
an idiot.
intentionally terrible character. Yeah, he's just
Yeah,
like really bad.
he's got the worst Hadouken. You have to be like really close for it to actually hit someone. Yeah.
I used to love in Street Fighter 4. I would always play as Dan because if you beat somebody with him, like, well, you suck, dude.
But yeah, it's definitely a movie that is leaning way more into the aesthetics of Street Fighter than anything else previously. It's like they took like the inspiration. So there's like that One Piece show on Netflix that just looks like the live action version of an anime, complete with character designs and everything.
Mhm.
And a lot of people really fucking love it. And maybe that's what they're going for. They're like,
Think
let's just go for the most literal attempt at adapting this silly thing.
part of that's because people just love One Piece, but I do agree that I feel like they're just kind of like there's gonna be the tongues are in the cheek here. They're just kind of like we're
Firmly.
not. Yeah, so there's no point in making a big serious epic Street Fighter film because nobody's gonna buy it. But if we just kind of play around with it, and just have fun with it, people will have fun with it. Because like we said, Street Fighter not the most densely narrative of stories here. But if you just kind of play around and have fun with it, the audience will have fun, and you know it's not gonna win any awards, but you'll have a good time at the cinema.
Feels like the Masters of the Universe movie that's coming out is in the exact same vein as well, and
Mm.
that I'm looking forward to that way more than I am the Street Fighter movie.
Did you grow up a fan of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, John?
Oh, very much so. Yes.
Did you enjoy the Dolph Lundgren He-Man Masters of the
Yeah,
Universe?
man.
I was in
That
a bar that was playing that the other day.
Frank Langella as Skeletor is one of the greatest villainous performances of all time.
Of all time,
Of all time.
more
He's
than Empire.
incredible. Yeah. I mean, I'd say he's on a par at least.
Okay, I'll go with that. I haven't seen the film, but I trust your judgment.
Mm,
You're the film guy.
Yes, film guy.
exactly.
Film guy.
So, John, speaking of being the film guy, how many movies have you watched for 2026 so far?
I have watched 288 movies so far.
Wow.
Okay, because so we record next week. That's going to be the month of March. You are currently averaging about 100 movies a month.
This is the month of
Yes.
March.
Yes.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's going pretty well so far.
sounds like it.
So, what was the last one you watched?
It was called Murders in the Rue Morgue. Sort of loosely based on the Edgar Allan Poe short story, which basically introduced the whole concept of like detective fiction.
Okay.
But yeah, this was completely different from that story. But it had Herbert Lom in it, who was like Inspector Clouseau's exasperated chief character in all those Pink Panther movies. And he's amazing in those, very funny. Not so much in this. He's like the actual murderer who's killing people, and he has like his face scarred by
Hysterical.
acid. But you know,
I was
I
like,
mean, it was not great, but I enjoyed him at least.
I was hoping you'd tie it back into Master of the Universe and say that he played Mechaneck or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, John, where can our fans, our listeners, just because you're listening doesn't mean you're a fan. I'm just gonna put it out there. You don't feel pressured. Where can those listening check out your review of that exceptional Edgar Allan Poe adaptation?
They can head to Letterboxd and find me at Big John Bowski, Ormwood.
And Dylan, what do you get up to during the week?
I sleep a lot, but when I'm not sleeping, I'm awake. And on Monday nights, I do a radio show. You can listen to it online, which is magical. If you have a browser, you can listen to it. It's on bouncedigitalradio.co.uk. I do it every Monday night from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock UK time. You can check the conversion rates or whatever it is. But you can listen to it wherever you are in the world. It's awesome. Play a lot of rock music. Sometimes I stream on Twitch at Spooky LaRue, and I post animations that I make on YouTube and on TikTok at Team Crows and I think the links are all somewhere. You can find them.
Yeah.
We put up a new animation the other day, and we fucking loved it, and nobody else did. Oh, I was gutted. I was heartbroken. I'm like, this was so good. It was so funny.
Wait, how do you know
And
people didn't like it? Were there people actively saying, "Oh, this was not good"?
we saw the numbers.
Okay.
Like we put up one a few weeks ago, and it did like crazy numbers on TikTok. Like it was the most popular one we've ever done. It had like 3,000 views. I'm like, that's amazing! Whoa, dude, 3,000 views, and it kept going up like every day. Like most times we post something, it staggers after like a day.
Yeah.
This kept going up. So then we worked on this one for like 2 weeks, or whatever. Like this is gonna be fucking sick as hell, dude. It's gonna be so good. And I got like 200 views. I'm like, oh man. Oh, that's a shame. So go back and like watch that and on TikTok and on YouTube and give us money.
Give him money.
Yeah.
Give money to Dylan and his friends.
Put that on the shirt, please.
Give money to Dylan. You be careful. You're gonna start sounding like Danhausen.
Hey, he's got the right idea.
He does.
Should I start calling myself Dylanhausen? Will I get in trouble?
Might. Might.
Let's just forget that and just give me money. Just
give Dylan money, and that way you don't even have to paint your face.
I'm not going to.
There you go. Now you don't have to.
Done. Easy.
Done and done. As for me, I have another show called Large Old Cup. It is a spoken word storytelling podcast that is fun to do because there's no plan behind it. I just do it, and it's a good time. There is also the kind of show that we talked a little bit about in this episode. It's called New Number Ones. It comes out on our YouTube channel, where every week I go to the comic book store and I try to find a number one comic from a smaller publisher and do a review on it. Some weeks I have a selection, and then some weeks I don't. so we might be revisiting that no DC and Marvel rule at some point soon, because there was some slim pickings this week, and I'm not necessarily sure if what I picked counts. So,
Whoa.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. It'll adapt and grow. But of course, you can find that here on our channel. The links to everything we've talked about is in the description. We will see you all later next week. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.